We have Coach Cater from Shepherd University. You're the preseason favorite and returned 14 starters. What are your expectations for the 2012 season after being ranked as high as number 3 in 2011?
Well, I think we're excited about the season. I don't think there's any doubt that we're excited about our defense. So many guys are going to be back, and we actually will replace a great player in Elijah Davis with Keon Robinson, who had been an All-American the year before. I think that's going to be huge, and we're going to get Nick Tolson back, who we thought was done as far as his eligibility is concerned. So defensively, with a lot of guys back, really only replacing 2 guys, that starting group could end up being more like 16 or 17. So I think offensively it seems like that's where we've lost the most people, but we did lose one of our offensive linemen. 3 would be graduating with 4 years of playing experience. So that part of it's where we're going to probably feel the losses the most. But one of those guys was hurt early in the year when we were playing out at St. Joe, and one of the guys that's going to be a starter a lot of the rest of the year, played a lot. So we had an opportunity to at least lessen maybe some of the impact of those guys going. But we got a great running back, our quarterback's back, both quarterbacks are back. Fullback is back. We've got some good wide receivers, both tight ends. The question is going to be a couple of those offensive line spots. They're probably going to be the biggest difference in how quickly we can get out of the box, because we're going to open with Shippensburg, and they got 18 starters back, and they're excited, and they want to whip our bottoms too. So we've got to get ready. We've got to be ready at the beginning of the season like anybody else. But I'm excited about the number of people coming back that had good years last year.
Last season, you reeled off 5 straight wins to close the year. Will your team carry that type of momentum into the early parts of this season?
Well, I think the thing that happened last year, we felt like we were playing our best football at the end of the season, and we'd won those last 5, and we'd stubbed our toe, a couple times during the middle of the season against good football teams who played better than we did on those days. But we hoped we were going to have a chance to continue to play. But we were playing very well. We aren't going to have a lot of losses in terms of graduation or grades or transferring and things like that. So we're hoping we can take that momentum and make it something that's going to get us off to a good start in 2012.
You talked a little bit about your offensive returners. You have Kenny Williams back, and you also have Bobby Cooper returning. With a couple years of experience under their belt, how do you see your offensive performance improving this year?
Well, the difference will be those offensive linemen, and if we can go ahead and shore up that group, maybe a couple newcomers that may help us. But you're going to have to, an offensive line, you're going to have to live with the guys that were there in the spring, and it's difficult to go out and find really good offensive linemen because everybody's looking for them, especially that left tackle seems like. But I think our guys are going to be fine. We have to go against an outstanding defense every day in practice. That's one of the things that helps our guys, I believe, improve. May not look like it all the time, but you learn what it's like to have to face a guy that's really good every single day. It's not the look team or the scout team, like you have maybe in the season. In the spring, you're going against best on best. So, how quickly those guys can get along and they can go ahead and fill in those spots and get a little bit more experience, that's what's going to make a difference. Cooper's going to be fine. Kenny Williams is going to be fine. 2 good tight ends, decent wides, but it's how you are up front that's going to make a difference with our offense.
You talked a little bit about facing your defense in the spring and how difficult that is. Last year you held opponents to 2.1 yards per carry. Talk a little bit about your defense and what some consider to be one of the top defensive units in the country.
Well, I mean, they led the nation in fewest yards rushing per game, and then in total offense. So, we were able to stop a lot of teams. I think what we're seeing a lot more, though, not so much stopping the run. We're seeing more teams that are balanced or looking at throwing the ball just a little bit more. And our yardage that we gave up, and a lot of the points and stuff like that, were the result of teams being able to do some things against us throwing. So, we think we're going to have maybe the best secondary we've had since I've been at Shepherd. That's a long time. But you're looking at 2 outstanding players, and then a defensive or a Division I transfer that we had last year, and DJ Scott joining Keon Robinson and Corey Washington. So that could be a great group. Now, if we stay healthy, fine. Although it's great to have 9 starters back, but they have to be on the field playing for us. And if we get beat up, we'll drop off considerably. But that's a great first group to have. That's for sure.
One area that a lot of people don't really look at for Shepherd, but has been a consistent performer for you, has been your special teams unit. How difficult is that going to be to replace and continue consistency into this season?
Well, I think Eric Dobratz is, I guess, the all-time kick scoring leader in the history of the league, and we've been very fortunate. Ricky Schmidt's still bouncing around in the NFL, and we've had some really good kickers. That's probably the biggest question mark. Our punter would return, but the kicker is going to be a little bit one of those things that's still pretty much a question mark, and we've got to get that solved soon. But you're right, we've got some outstanding people to return kicks, both punts and kickoff returns. But as far as who's going to do the kicking, the field goals, and stuff like that, extra points, that's yet to be determined, and that doesn't help you sleep well at night.
Two losses that you had last year came to Concord and West Virginia Wesleyan. This year you have both of them at home in Shepherdstown. How big is that for your team?
Well, it's nice to have those at home. They won't let us play them all at home. The thing that happens is you trade those off. Now those are two teams that got us, and they played very well, and it doesn't make so much of a difference where they played better those days. We happened to catch them on the road, but they played better. One's a shootout. Concord probably played the best defense against us that we saw a year. So yeah, it's great to get those at home, but now we got to play some of those teams that you played at home and played well against this past year. Now you got to go to their place. So it's going to go ahead and sort itself out. I think the biggest thing is that there's going to be a number of teams in this league this year that are going to be capable of winning it, and I'm thinking 4 or 5, and maybe more think they can. I don't know that us as coaches are great at picking the way things are going to go because we haven't been right a lot of years. But I think at the same time that speaks well of our conference and how strong it is. And I don't think this is going to be any different. If anything, maybe even more so this year than it was in the past.
You're one of only a handful of coaches that have more than 200 wins on the collegiate level. This year you could break into the top 50 and have an outside shot moving into the top 40 all time. What does that mean for you?
Well, those are great things, I guess. I think the thing that means is I have been blessed with a great staff. A number of guys have had a chance to go on and coach in Division I. Jeff Castile would be a great example of that. Had Jeff for 12 years and had some great coaches that weren't just concerned about making money, that wanted to coach, that knew that was something that they wanted to do, and I've probably had more than my share of those. Then the fact we've had some really good players, and those good coaches have been able to recruit some players that fit into Shepherd, what we're trying to do, where we're at. That's got an awful lot to do with that. There's no magic. You hire good people to work for you, and you recruit good players, you can have some success, and I've been blessed with that.
You talked a little bit about the parity, it seems, in the league this season. Do you have any other thoughts on the WVIAC for 2012?
Well, I think it's still unfortunate that we aren't able to go ahead and get more than one team in. It seems like that's something that we fight every year, and now we're kind of beating each other up just a little bit too. The parity means it's tough. That you better not have a down week because that may be one of those losses. And if we could have gotten either the ones that we lost last year, if we could have beaten either of those teams, I think we had a chance. But that just tells you that our league is tough, week in, week out. There's going to be some great games. I don't know what an upset is anymore, but I think our league is good enough that there have been a number of years we should have had more than one team in, and we're going to have to figure out a way to get that done. But when everybody's pretty good, that makes it a little bit tougher to go ahead and have two teams that have no losses or maybe only one loss or something like that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck this season.